I feel exhausted. I feel like no matter how many hours of sleep I get at night, whether it's 8, 9, 10 hours, I wake up the next day and I could go and sleep for another 8, 9, 10 hours. I feel like the smallest tasks in my day require way more energy than I have in my reservoir, way more energy than I'm capable of giving. The smallest tasks like brushing my teeth or going for a walk or having breakfast, these feel like such big life-changing decisions. And by the time I'm done with breakfast, I'm ready for a nap. I feel exhausted. I feel energetically hungover. Now, the thing is, I don't know if this term already exists or if I am a genius and I came up with this term. I don't even want to Google it because I want to take pride in the fact that I could have come up with something as genius as the term energetic hangover. So just go with me on this one. I feel energetically hungover. Welcome back to the podcast. So the last few months, well, actually the last few years, but the last few months, more even just December, okay? December by itself was a very tiring month. Now, I love December. I love Christmas. I love New Year's. December is the Sunday of the year, and every single day in December just feels like Sunday on repeat, but it just looks like a different Sunday. It's like Groundhog Sunday. It's not the exact same thing happening, but it's like the day Sunday is being reset and you get to experience different versions of what that day could look like. That's what December is for me. And I love it, okay? But December is also the start of winter. It's when it gets darker earlier. It's when the light takes longer to come up. It's just all of nature is primed for rest. But December is also one of the busiest months of the year because everyone is running around doing shopping, last minute shopping, presents. Everyone is preparing food for Christmas lunches and dinners. Everyone is just wrapping up the end of year stuff or preparing for New Year's Eve or just preparing for the new year. So it's a month when nature is essentially telling us to slow down, but we're doing the exact opposite and we're going into overdrive. So these last few months, December, these last few years, whatever, this period of life has been filled with a lot of energetic surges, a lot of really high highs, a lot of really low lows, and it's like the highs have been Mount Everest and the lows have been Mariana Trench. That's how extreme each have been. And on a relatively neutral day, I just feel so exhausted from the high emotions or from the really low emotions that I just feel like, I need a minute to just sit. My body needs to rest. It just feels like I ran, I don't know, like 10 kilometers. I came back and I'm just like drained. I have no energy to walk, to talk, to do anything. But I didn't run 10 kilometers. That's the thing. There's nothing tangible. There's nothing concrete to quote unquote validate this feeling of exhaustion. And this is where, for lack of a better word, the mindfuck comes in. Because, and I don't know if this is just a me thing. I don't know if you feel this way as well, or you might have experienced this similar sensation or thought, which is that if I don't see a physical scar or physical proof of something, then it doesn't exist. So if I get sick, there is physical proof of that physical sensation of feeling unwell, okay? I have the proof in front of me, so I'm like, okay, cool, it's real. It makes it real. All right, I'll rest. But when it's not my physical body that's feeling unwell, when it's my emotional body that's feeling unwell, when it's my mental body that's feeling unwell, when it's my spiritual body that's feeling unwell. When there's no tangible scar to make it real, then it just feels like I don't have valid cause, or I don't have solid or concrete evidence for me to justify resting. It's messed up. It's very messed up. And the thing is, I said that I need physical proof of feeling, let's say, physically unwell or sick, for my mind to be convinced, like, okay, this unwellness, I don't know if that's a word, but this unwellness is real. Fine. Okay, you can rest. It's valid. But there's also a lot of times that I have felt physically unwell, whether it's a flu, whether it's that time of the month, whether, I don't know, I had a stomach bug or food poisoning or whatever. Even though I know that there's something physically, like there's physical proof, I would still go against what my body's telling me, which is to rest. I would go against that, and I would still run around and just do things and be productive, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, I'm wasting time. I'm sitting in bed when I could be doing all of these different things on my to-do list. Over the years, I've learned to not do that. So now when I know that my body is craving rest, I rest and I actually enjoy it. So I would say that I'm someone who is fairly not fluent. I don't think I can ever be fluent in the language of my body, physical, emotional, mental, because we're always learning, we're always going. But I would say that I'm someone who's fairly, I'm not fluent, I'm not native in it, but I can understand it enough to know the signs that my body's telling me to slow down, or that it needs a little bit more time to rest, or it needs to start the day a bit slower, or it needs to wind down a little bit earlier than usual. And even though I know when my body is ready for slowness, I still guilt and shame myself out of rest. Because I've realized that for me, rest is conditional. What does that mean? If I haven't slept well, then I will move a bit slower and start my morning slower and just ease my way into my day. If I am feeling physically sick, then I will rest a little bit more. If it's that time of the month, then I will move slower. If 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6. So rest hasn't become something that's integrated in my being. Rest has become something that is dependent on what the doing looks like. And that was a slap in the face, because I was like, oh no, I understand my body. I listen to my body. When it tells me to slow down, I slow down. Or when I could tell that it needs me to slow down, I will slow down. But even when I do slow down on those occasions, on those if occasions, I still find myself guilting myself, like, you know what? You took 1 too many slow days this week. It's not justified. There's nothing physical there as proof that you really need to take it slow, that you really need a rest cycle. So the voice in my head starts to fill my mind with all these intrusive thoughts of, you should be doing more, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, should. I start shoulding myself. I realized that for me, what I used to think that rest is just a part of my being, no. Rest is just another thing that I added on my to-do list. Okay, so this is something new to sit with, to reconcile with, to figure out how to recalibrate my life with, because there's a lot of times when I would be quote unquote resting, but my mind would be active, and then that period of time is actually wasted time, because I'm neither really truly resting, nor am I actually doing anything or being productive. It's this kind of limbo phase. Nothing is being done, and literally the time is being wasted. Now that's a shame. Now, how are you going to be able to discern whether you're resting as a to-do list or whether you're resting because rest is integrated as part of your being. I have no idea. I still haven't figured that out, but I'm trying, okay? I'm trying in the sense that I look to what I'm feeling. If I'm gonna sit and be like, okay, I need to rest, and I feel relief, then I sit and I rest. If I'm going to rest and I start to feel a bit claustrophobic or I start to feel anxious because I have all of these different things that I need to do, then if I do rest, I'm not going to be able to really rest properly or enjoy anything. And I'm going to be too exhausted to do those things. So I kind of try to find a middle ground. Instead of forcing myself into doing something and half-assing it, I look for a different variation of what that thing could look like. So for example, if I had it on my schedule to go for a run, but my body feels like it doesn't have the energy to run, but I also hear that voice in my head saying, no, but you need to move, you haven't moved at all this week. Instead of running and half-assing it and not enjoying it and, I don't know, maybe like tripping or injuring myself because I'm half-assing it, I would find a different variation of that. I would just go for an extended long walk. Instead of half-assing it, I would find a variation of it where I could full-ass it. Something that is maybe a lighter variation or a lighter version of it. If it's about movement, if I want to go for a run, I don't have the energy to run, fine, I'll go for a walk. I'm still getting the movement in, but I'm not guilting myself into running and not being able to really enjoy that experience because I guilted myself into it. I'll just do a different variation or a different version of it that feels better. Finding this ability to discern between rest as a part of my being and rest as just another item off my to-do list is, what does it feel like? What is the emotional experience? And it's not just with rest, it's with everything. What is the emotional experience? Does it feel like something that's going to bring you relief? Or does it feel like something that is going to make you feel claustrophobic or it's going to make you feel anxious? It doesn't matter how you show up. What matters is that you show up, period. You show up, you give your 100%, but this is the thing. Your 100% does not look the same from one day to the next. So all of this all or nothing bullshit, it's not a blanket statement. There needs to be a but at the end. There needs to be a little bit of context. So your 100% today could look like running 10K. Your 100% tomorrow could look like walking 5K. It does not matter what you do or how you show up. What matters is that you show up, period. So I feel energetically exhausted. My physical body, my emotional body, my mental body, and my spiritual body all have different levels of 100%. And I am doing my best to honor them, to honor this period of the year, which is winter, which is time for rest, okay? And the way that I'm able to honor them is to just see what emotion's coming up, to just see how I feel. It's not one size fits all. It's not all or nothing. I just take it day by day, one situation at a time, and I look for relief. I look for relief. That's been my North Star. That's been my compass to figure my way out throughout this emotional experience, throughout this energetic and emotional hangover. And on that note, see you next time.